Hello there everybody and welcome to 5 tips and tricks to get a good start in Let's Build a Zoo. So these things are all really helpful that will give you good control over the zoo's day-to-day business, and will make sure that you will have in no time a steady income without breaking a sweat. So timestamps are down below. Let's get started with number 1. So your animals need treatment every day, and therefore you have zookeepers. But if you don't configure your zookeepers, they will do a horrible job. So to configure them right, you go into the heat map system, you get into the animal keeper screen, and now you see I have already assigned my zookeepers to these, but to do it, you just select your zookeeper, click left on him, and click left on the thingy here, the enclosure, and then you're good to go. I personally have a policy of 1 zookeeper per enclosure. This is a little bit overkill, but you know, this way I can hire even the worst zookeepers without breaking a sweat. I'll leave it up to you how you want to put it down, but this way your animals will always be in good shape, they have food, and they'll be as happy as possible. Number 2, let's head on over to the dirt management of your zoo. First off, you'll need bins, and bins will give you a nice way of forcing the people to, well, disposing their own trash. That's all nice and dandy, but that's not enough. To keep your zoo really clean, you need the janitors as well. But here again, they are pretty similar to the animal keepers. They are pretty lackluster unless configured. So you pick up your janitor and then you configure his influence zone just like that, and boom. This way, this guy now knows what's his job. We're going to select the next janitor and give him this area as a job, and then we do this. And now we have our entire zoo covered by janitors. Of course, you could do this way better. This is just one example. But without zones, your janitors will really do a horrible job and you won't have much of a use of them. This way, you can keep your zoo clean. So, number 3 is a very easy thing, but it's really helpful at the beginning of the game. Check out each and every day the animal shelter. You will get animal varieties that will help you breeding, and while quite often I get a pop-up message that there is a new variety for me that I haven't had yet, I often don't get a notification even if there are new things there. So really look at this every day, especially at the beginning of the game. Super helpful to get your breeding game going, because the more varieties you have, the easier it is to have a wide variety of different animals, and that's pretty good for your progression. Number 4, I want to talk about the animal feeding. So the standard animal diet will look something like this. You will have a maximum of satiation but almost no nutrition. Ideally, it should actually look something like this. Full nutrition while maintaining full satiation. Every animal has 4 different food types that you need to balance out. So you can't just go on over here. You reduce the straw to 0%, and then I personally like to work myself up and just see what I need to add in until the nutrition is at a full bar. And when I am almost done, I'm topping it off with the good stuff, or the cheap stuff I should rather say, and let's make it something like this. And then at the end of this, I am checking out that it hits 100%, and this is the best way to keep your animals happy. Don't forget that you have to quick order from time to time that stuff that you actually configured here. The benefits of that is your animals will live longer, and therefore you will have more income of them, and you can also breed them more often, and it just pays off to have healthy animals in your zoo. Number 5. One thing is really easy to miss, but it's very helpful. When you want to put new animals into enclosures, you know, the ones that you unlock from the zoos there, it really pays off to have a enclosure that's expandable, because you know, when you have a new animal, you have no clue about their territorial numbers. You know, some animals need much territory, some are quite happy to be in confined spaces, And it's really helpful to have a enclosure that can be expanded if needed, and then you can move yourself towards the necessary size. Also, always quite good to have a welcoming enclosure and then move them over to something which you have hand tailored. Either way, my point here is when you have no clue about what kind of size the new animal needs, go for a large solution because unhappy animals are the last thing you want. And with these 5 little things, your zoo will be in profit no time. And one last thing, adapt to your ticket prices. The better your zoo gets, the more costly it can get. So I hope you found these helpful. There's of course way more things to say, and I'm working on more tutorials for this fine game. And yeah, feel free to ask away, add new things that you feel like would be helpful to new game players here as well. I'm really happy to have helpful comments down there. Leave a thumbs up if you enjoyed, consider subscribing, and as usual, I thank you so much for watching and I hope you're having a great day.